Namaste and welcome to another special deep dive. We're really glad you could join us today. We're embarking on quite a fascinating journey into a really pivotal moment in the Hindu calendar. Today, we're going to try and unpack the significance of Devshayani Ekadashi and also the holy period it ushers in, which is known as Chaturmas. We've looked into this quite a bit, and it really reveals why this time is seen as a kind of sacred pause and, what it means for millions of devotees across India.
Yes, and what's particularly insightful, I think, is seeing how these traditions, which go back centuries, uh, they weave together spiritual discipline, a deep understanding of cosmic rhythms, and honestly, some quite practical benefits for daily life, too. We'll explore the rich details, the rituals, the legends, and maybe even touch upon some, well, surprising connections you might not expect.
Absolutely. So if you're looking to quickly grasp the essence of this important period, understand its deeper meaning, and maybe have a few aha moments along the way, then you're definitely in the right place. Let's begin our deep dive.
Okay, let's start with Devshayani Ekadashi itself. What exactly is this day, and maybe what are some of its other names? We know it's the 11th lunar day, Ekadashi, of the bright fortnight, the Shukla Paksha, in the Hindu month of Ashada, and it's also called Ashadi Ekadashi sometimes, or Padma Ekadashi, Harishayani Ekadashi.
Right, and often Maha Ekadashi, the Great Ekadashi. That name itself tells you something about its importance.
The greatest of them all.
Yeah, precisely. This particular Ekadashi is exceptionally significant because it's believed to be the exact moment a major cosmic event occurs. It really sets the tone for the next 4 months. And just for reference, in 2025, Devshayani Ekadashi falls on Sunday, July 6th.
Okay, July 6, 2025. Yes. And the specific timings. The Ekadashi Tithi actually begins the evening before, July 5th, around 6:58 p.m. IST, let's say, and it ends on July 6th, around 9:14 p.m. IST. And the Purana, that's the fast-breaking time, that's on the next morning, July 7th, typically between about 5:30 a.m. and 8:7 c.a.m., or maybe 6:00 a.m. to 8:48 a.m., depending on precise calculations. It's quite specific.
Very precise. And here's where it gets really interesting, isn't it? The core belief behind Devshayani Ekadashi, it centers around Lord Vishnu. The belief is that Lord Vishnu enters a divine sleep. Yoga Nidra, they call it.
Yoga Nidra, yes. That conscious divine slumber.
And the imagery is so powerful, he's said to recline in the cosmic ocean, the Kshatrasagara, resting on the serpent Shesha.
Exactly. And connecting this to the bigger picture, this cosmic sleep, this yoga nidra, it's not just symbolic. It's really understood to represent a sacred pause in worldly activities. It's thought to influence divine energies everywhere. Lord Vishnu is believed to awaken only on Prabodhini Ekadashi, which falls much later, usually October or November.
Right.
So that marks out a full 4-month period of his rest.
4 whole months. Okay.
Yeah, 4 months. It's quite a duration.
So this naturally brings us to Chaturmas, which literally means 4 months, right?
Precisely. Chatur, 4, Masines, months.
So what does this period signify beyond just Lord Vishnu's rest? What's the deeper meaning for people?
Well, Chaturmas is fundamentally a holy period in Hinduism. Its main purpose is guiding people towards a sort of calm, a humility. It encourages a deliberate pause on grand events, a focus on simpler living, more devotion, doing good deeds.
So less outward focus, more inward.
Exactly. It's really a time for spiritual reflection, maybe some penance, and definitely for inner growth. And it's interesting how this period aligns perfectly with the monsoon season in India.
Ah, yes, that makes practical sense too.
It does. Traditionally, travel was difficult. Large gatherings weren't practical. So the season itself encourages staying put, quiet introspection. It's a kind of wisdom, aligning human practice with natural cycles.
That's a great point. Now, something many listeners might wonder, why are things like weddings or starting a new business or other big ceremonies often put on hold during Chaturmas? It seems quite strict.
Yes, that's a very common observance and a good question. The underlying belief is tied directly to Lord Vishnu's sleep. The thinking goes, if the divine energies, especially those associated with preservation and auspiciousness, are at rest, well, how can you expect the full blessings for major new beginnings?
So the blessings are sort of on pause, too.
In a way, yes. Certain texts, like the Bhavishya Purana and Padma Purana, actually state something like, good news is deferred during this divine slumber. It reinforces this idea of a suspension of, let's say, divine favor for these kinds of major life events and new ventures. Mundan sanskar, housewarmings, property deals, all usually defer.
Okay, I see. So big social celebrations are paused. But spiritually, it sounds like Chaturmas is anything but inactive. What are devotees actually doing during these 4 months?
Oh, definitely not inactive. Spiritually, it's often a period of heightened activity and discipline. People observe various fasts, sometimes quite strict ones. There's a lot of chanting, like the Vishnu Sahasranama, or the simple but powerful Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a time for spiritual discipline. And interestingly, some important festivals do happen within Chaturmas.
Like Guru Purnima.
Exactly. Guru Purnima falls right near the beginning, and the whole month of Sawan, dedicated to Lord Shiva, with all its rituals, that's also within Chaturmas. And towards the end, there's Pitra Paksha, that crucial 15-day period for honoring ancestors.
Right, with the Shraddha rituals.
Yes, Shraddha, special offerings, acts of charity for the departed souls, it's all part of it. So you see, it's really designed to increase good karma, deepen one's spiritual connection through self-discipline and devotion, not avoid it all.
That makes sense. It's a refocusing of energy. Okay, let's zoom back in on Devshayani Ekadashi itself. For those who observe this specific day, what are the rituals, the fasting guidelines? It sounded quite structured earlier.
It is quite structured, yes. Preparation often starts early, waking before sunrise, taking a ritual bath, cleaning the puja area thoroughly, then invoking Lord Vishnu and Goddess Lakshmi, usually with photos or idols. Lighting a ghee lamp, a deep, is essential.
And the offerings, you mentioned tulsi.
Ah yes, tulsi dal, the leaves are crucial for Vishnu puja, but also prush flowers, coconut, supari, betel nut, fruits, cloves, incense, and panchamrit.
Panchamrit, the 5 nectars.
That's right, milk, yogurt, honey, ghee, and sugar usually. Also akshat, uncooked rice grains, chandan, sandalwood paste, and some mishtan sweets. It's quite a list.
And the fasting itself, are there different levels?
Yes, there's flexibility. Some observe nirjala, which is very strict, no water at all.
Wow.
Others do falahar, which means eating only fruits and specific sattvic foods, no grains, no beans. Or shirbuji, relying on milk products. Or naktapoji, which allows one single meal, again, avoiding certain foods. The absolute key rule for almost everyone fasting is no grains, no beans, no onions, no garlic.
Okay, that's clear. Grains and beans are out. What about breaking the fast, the parana?
That's also very specific. It must be done only after Hari Vasara ends. Hari Vasara is the first quarter of the next day, the Dwadashi Tethi. And ideally, Parana should be done during Pratakal, the early morning hours. Definitely avoid breaking the fast around midday.
Right. And you mentioned charity.
Yes, dana, charity, is highly recommended. Donating things associated with Vishnu or auspiciousness like yellow clothes, turmeric, fruits, sweets, pulses, giving alms to Brahmins or those in need. And many people read or listen to the Devshayani Ekadashi Vrat Katha, the story associated with the fast, and engage in kirtan or bhajan, devotional singing.
It's a very complete observance then. Ritual, fasting, charity, story, devotion.
Absolutely. It engages the person on multiple levels.
So beyond the discipline, what are the benefits people believe they receive from observing this Devshayani Ekadashi Vrat so carefully?
Well, spiritually, the benefits are considered immense. Accumulating great punya, or merit, purification of the mind and soul. It's even believed to help attain moksha, liberation from the cycle of birth and death, and to remove the burden of past karma.
And material benefits, you mentioned those earlier.
Yes, devotees also pray for divine protection, for peace in the family, general blessings. And there's a belief particularly linked to vows taken during Chaturmas that it can help fulfill certain material wishes, sometimes even finding a suitable marriage partner. But the real emphasis, I'd say, is on inner transformation, gaining clarity, self-control, and a sharper spiritual focus.
And these beliefs, they're often tied to stories, legends.
Very much so. Legends illustrate the power and benevolence associated with the Vrat. There's a famous story about King Manhata.
Ah, tell us about that.
His kingdom suffered a terrible drought for 3 long years. Famine was widespread. He consulted the sage Angira, who advised him to observe the Devshayani Ekadashi Vrata with full faith and devotion. King Manhata did so, sincerely observing all the rituals. And, the story goes, miraculous rains followed, ending the drought and restoring prosperity to his kingdom. It's seen as a direct result of Vishnu's grace accessed through the Vrat.
Wow, that's quite a story. A direct link between the observance...
Exactly. And there's another interesting concept, this one for the Padma Purana, explaining why grains are avoided on Ekadashi.
Oh, yes.
It suggests that on Ekadashi days, a being called the Papa Purusha, who is basically the embodiment of all sins, resides specifically in grains, beans, and cereals.
I see. So eating them would be like consuming sin on that day.
That's the symbolic understanding, yes. It provides a powerful spiritual reason for the dietary restriction, aiming for purification.
Fascinating. Now, you mentioned Maharashtra earlier. It seems Devshayani Ekadashi, or Ashadi Ekadashi as it's known there, has a particularly special significance.
Oh, immensely so. The enthusiasm, particularly in Pandharpur, is incredible. It's all centered around the Vithal temple there, Lord Vithal being a beloved manifestation of Lord Vishnu or Krishna.
And this is connected to the Wari pilgrimage?
Yes, the absolute highlight is the Pandharpur Wari, or Dindi Yatra. It culminates on Ashadi Ekadashi. You have millions of devotees, the Warkaris, undertaking this amazing annual pilgrimage. Many walk, often around 250 kilometers or more, from places like Alandi and Dehu.
Walking 250 kilometers.
Yes. Carrying the padukas, the symbolic footwear of revered saints like Sant Daneshwar and Sant Tukaram, in beautifully decorated palkis or palanquins. The whole journey is filled with the singing of ahangas, devotional songs dedicated to Lord Vithal. It's an incredible sight and sound.
Must be quite an experience.
Absolutely. And when they reach Pandharpur, they take a holy dip in the Chandrapaga River, which is the Bhima River there, before having darshan at the Vithal temple. It's a massive, deeply devotional event.
And they have special fasting food there, too.
They do. The traditional Upasachi thali, the fasting platter, is quite popular. It features specific allowed foods like sabudana khichdi, varai bhat, which is sama rice, pita amti, a kind of lentil-less curry, and sabudana vada. Delicious, actually.
This sounds... Now, this is something I find really fascinating. Beyond all the spiritual and cultural depth, you mentioned there's also a scientific perspective being discussed around Ekadashi fasting.
Yes, it's quite intriguing how some traditional practices seem to resonate with modern scientific understanding, or at least raise interesting questions.
So what's the connection? Is it the moon again?
It seemed to be, yes. The moon's cycle definitely affects Earth. We see it in the tides. Science observes that air pressure varies on new moon, Amavasya, and full moon, Purnima days, because of the gravitational alignment of the sun, moon, and Earth. Now, here's an interesting thought. It takes roughly 334 days for the nutrients from food to fully reach and impact the brain. So the theory goes, if you fast or eat very lightly on Ekadashi, which is the 11th day, that lighter metabolic impact reaches the brain around the high-pressure times of the new or full moon, 14th, 15th day. This might potentially reduce imbalances or agitation in thought processes during those peak lunar phases.
Huh. That's a novel idea.
It is. Another point made is about atmospheric pressure itself. It's often lowest on Ekadashi days. This could make it an absolutely optimal time to fast, allowing the digestive system, especially the bowels, to cleanse and rest without undue strain.
Giving the gut a break.
Exactly. Giving the digestive system a rest has known benefits: improved digestion, better assimilation of nutrients later, potentially even aiding blood production, and then there are the suggested mental benefits. Some proponents claim regular Ekadashi fasting enhances mental stability, helps manage tension, anxiety, even reduces things like excessive anger, fear, greed, or passion. Could it potentially help manage hypertension too?
So calming the system down overall.
That seems to be the idea. And potentially longer-term health benefits too, things like improved insulin sensitivity, maybe lower cholesterol, general detoxification, better kidney and liver function. Some even suggest it could prolong lifespan. Of course, these are areas where traditional beliefs meets modern wellness concepts, and more research is always needed. But it's fascinating that the word upavasa itself, meaning fasting, also spiritually implies staying near or staying with the divine.
So it's a connection, physical discipline supporting a spiritual aim.
Beautifully put. It's that integration of body, mind, and spirit.
Okay, let's try and connect all these threads then. We've covered the cosmic sleep, the 4 holy months, the rituals, the legends, the celebrations, even potential science. It seems pretty clear that Devshayani Ekadashi and the whole Chaturmas period offer much more than just old rituals. Whether you approach it for spiritual growth, cultural connection, or even perhaps for health reasons, it offers a unique space for introspection, for discipline.
I agree. This deep dive really shows these aren't just ancient customs. They have layers of meaning, practical applications. They encourage a pause, a deliberate slowing down in our usually hectic lives. And that pause can lead to really valuable self-awareness and hopefully greater well-being. The wisdom embedded in these practices, feels quite relevant even today, maybe especially today.
That's a strong point. We really hope this exploration of Devshayani Ekadashi and Chaturmas has given you, our listeners, a richer understanding. Maybe it sparks some new thoughts or reflections for you. It's quite amazing, isn't it, how these ancient practices continue to offer such profound insights into living a balanced and purposeful life.
Absolutely. It really highlights that even in our nonstop world, carving out time for quiet reflection, for
Hmm.
inner work, can be incredibly beneficial. It sort of lines us, perhaps, with deeper rhythms, both cosmic and personal.
So, thinking about what this all means for you listening, maybe it's just a moment to consider that. How small, consistent acts of self discipline, of reflection, maybe not even a full fast, but just a pause, how they might lead to significant inner shifts, even today. Something to perhaps mull over. Thank you so much for joining us on Vedic Dialogues for this deep dive. We look forward to sharing more fascinating knowledge with you again soon. Namaste.